Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm not sure if you can hear me at the moment. Hopefully you can. I'm just waiting for the advert to pass so that I can see if I am live. I think I am. I think everything's gone okay. Right, there we go. So there's a small delay. That's not a problem. Right, let me just get my thing right. Thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you can see me all okay. While I'm reading out, I can't actually see what you're commenting on, but obviously I will at the end. I will chat to you all as best as I can then, but we've got quite a bit to get through, in all honesty. Lots of news for you, lots of exciting things to come, and lots of sighting reports. So thank you all for joining me tonight. So we've had so many differing reports come in of different creatures and experiences that we've decided we're going to just adopt a you report it and we will investigate it attitude. I've heard from so many people since I spoke to you last that have tried to make reports to people and they haven't fitted the parameters, or what they were trying to report didn't fit with what that person was collecting. So I think we'll do away with that. If you've got something that you want to reach out to us about, feel free. If you don't want to speak to me and you want to speak to one of the guys, that's absolutely fine. I'm just the loud voice that you hear. BBR is made up of a number of volunteers and they are more than willing to chat with you on Skype, over the telephone, through email, through chat, any way that you want to do it. And we can find a good fit for you so that you feel that you can make your report in a relaxed attitude. So as I say, it'll be confidential. It doesn't have to go on the map. It doesn't have to be reported on YouTube. It doesn't have to be out there. If you just want to talk to somebody about it, that's fine as well. And if you've got something going on at home or something in your research area, just reach out, because we've got members all across the world now, especially in the UK. If you're reporting something in the UK, we're going to have somebody that's near you, at least in the same county as you, that can come out and help and join you, really. So at the beginning of tonight's live feed, I want to clear up a little bit of confusion. Memberships are completely free. You don't have to pay to join BBR. It's all done via email. The fee is just optional. If you want the membership certificate, I've actually got one here. Sorry, my hands are really bad today. So if you want the membership certificate, and I can get it, there we go, and the badge that comes with it, then there is a fee of £3.99, and that's just for your stamp, your envelope, the printing. We actually end up about 30 pence in the deficit, so we don't make anything off it, believe me. But you don't just get that, you all get the same. So basically you would just pay the £3.99 if you just wanted the paperwork and the badge. Basically you get a free monthly email. You get free live feeds, free exclusive podcasts that don't come onto YouTube. You'll get early sighting reports, especially if you're a patron. If you're one of the patrons, you will hear the reports within 24 hours of them coming in. You will also get, and you will hear me mention it a lot, a members map. And I know people are a bit wary about using it. There is a little video at the very, very top of the map that you can click on and it will tell you how to use it. But basically, when you join, if you want on the map, you give me a contact email that you don't mind using, and I pop you on a town or city of your choice, and it doesn't have to be on your home. It can be on your research area. If you live in the south and you research over here, well, we'll pop your pin over there if you'd rather do that. It's entirely up to you. But what it will do is enable you to meet up with other people who are like-minded, who are the same as you and have the same interests, really. And if you're a podcaster or a YouTuber, or you have a Facebook group or something like that, and you want to get it out there, just let me know and I'll pop those details onto the map, because people use it for that facility as well. We have a lot of very big name hominid researchers on there, because we have American members, we have Canadian members, and they've been researching for, some of them, around 40 years. So they've got information that could be, could be used by you, could be valued, and it needs to be passed on. So as I say, it's all free. Don't worry, you know, you've not got to pay if you want to join. You just join for free. Some people do donate. They make small donations, and it's just because we're run by volunteers that just helps us to buy really useful equipment like cups and chairs and things like that for the meet. Basic things like tea, coffee, sugar, all the things that we take down there with us, and the petrol, the campground cost and everything, it all comes out of our own pockets. And they also help with, as I say, with the membership. We're at a deficit, so some people will, you know, sling me £10 across and I'll buy stamps with it, and that enables me to bring it out. I'm what you would call the secretary or the treasurer, basically. I'm admin. Yeah, but there is, you'd be amazed how many people out there may actually make up BBR. And they are the guys that are arranging the meets. So, which brings me to those meets. I've been asked by lots of people what the facilities are, whether we'd be providing tents or anything like that, and I think there's a bit of a mix-up. When we do the meets in the field, in the daytime, we tend to find a cafe in one of the local nature reserves or forest parks. So we'll use the Delamere one, for instance. There is a cafe there at Delamere with outdoor seating. So we'll make that the meet point. We will sit there for an hour and wait for any stragglers to come. And then the local researchers will find us somewhere that's flat enough for us to get on. But it might be a matter of jumping in the car and nipping 2 miles down the road. I'm never sure until a couple of days before the meet, because they're out there now looking for an area for us. There is a flat camping spot where you are allowed to wild camp at Delamere, David said, and he's going to check that out for us. That will have a postcode. So I will send that link out of both postcodes, the postcodes for the cafe and the postcodes for the camping area, if that's where we're going to stay. I'm just giving you a little bit of an update. It will be rough. There's no event tent. My husband will rig a tarp if it's raining. A lot of the lads will bring their camping gear, because you can stay overnight, but you will be wild camping. Bring a chair so you're not sat on the wet ground, and bring a cup, because my hubby will get a boil on and we'll all be able to have a warm drink and keep warm by the fire. I usually take a blanket as well, because the cold affects my legs. So just think about things like that when you're setting out, and try and get there between 12 and 1 o'clock if you can. If you're worried about that, just email me and I'll give you my mobile number. And a couple of the volunteers are happy to give their mobile numbers out as well, so that you don't get lost on the day. Now, I'll give you the dates for both of these, and there will be, as I say, overnight wild camping on both of these occasions. Now, it's up to you whether you do that or not. And I must warn you that you would be camping in an area, both areas have had a number of reports. So I'm not sending you to an area that's, you might actually get some activity if you want, but if you're the type of person that doesn't want that, just be warned. There have been active reports in this area, and I'll be interviewing one of the witnesses to those in the week. So Delamere, the meetup will be at the cafe, but you can get the email address, get my email address at the end of this, and I will pop out the postcode. I'm absolutely full of the flu, you'll have to pardon me. But it's Saturday the 15th of Feb, and I will bring out a little video on it, including everything you need to know on that day. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. And that's at the Delamere Cafe, as I say. So Saturday the 15th of Feb, between 12 and 1 if you can. Bollum, we're going to meet at the Visitors Centre. That's going to be Sunday the 29th of March. Same thing again. Try and get there if you can, between probably around about 11:30 to about 12:30, because I know there's lots of people driving in, and I will do my best to make sure that we don't move. I'm asking for, do you want to come in?
Your camera's on sideways, Kev said.
Oh, flip. I don't know why it's doing that, love. You're going to have to come and help me. 1 second. I think it'll turn now.
Can that not?
No, get me small tripods over there. At the back of me. Just give me a sec. I'm just having a few technical problems. I might have some
problem here.
Yeah.
Right.
What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna have to hold it there.
Right.
I just hold it here while Mark gets himself sorted. There we go. On camera. It's because I don't know the settings on it yet. I'm not, because I'm working with new equipment. I'm not really sure. Right, there we go. Not a good wide view, but never mind. We'll go with that. Right, thank you. So where did you get to? Bollum Lake. Sunday 29th of March. Try and get there between about 11:30 and 12:30. Right, there we go. Right, I can see something's happened because I can suddenly see your comments. So, you know, I'm just, because I've managed to get new kit, I'm working with it, I'm not really good. So I'm not the best at tech, but I'm trying. I'm hoping each one will get better. Right, conference tickets and things like that, and the dates for the conferences are February the 27th is Hull, and that is until the 1st of March on the Sunday. I will only be speaking on Saturday at 1 p.m, which I presume is the 28th. So yeah, Saturday 28th of March, Hull, but pop along there, there's loads of speakers on. Just get in touch with me and I'll send you all the links out. I'm going to do a little video for that as well, giving all of the details and popping it in the link. Same for our conference in May. Lots of exciting news behind that, but I can't really tell you that unless I go public with it. But yeah, that'll be May the 17th. It's a Sunday, and you can be there from 7. We booked the room from 9:30 till about 7 p.m. But you know, feel free to come and go as you please. Once you've got your ticket, you can come in and out. It's entirely up to you. But as I say, I will bring you a small video on that. Now to the good stuff. Let's get to the sighting reports. I was hoping he was bringing me brewing. My brew's gone cold. And thank you, Kev, for letting him know. Because I don't know, I'd have been sideways all night like that. Yeah. Right, now here's what I'm good at. Sighting reports. Admin, not so much. Tech, not so much. I had a report come in of a banshee. And I'm not going to read all of it because we'll be here all night. We've had that many reports. Let me just find it. And it was reported to Thomas Markham of the Crypto Crew. And Thomas Markham was one of the Americans that actually took me serious way back in the day when I was trying to find somebody who'd listened about what had happened. And when you go to someone and you say, I've had this unexplained event and things like that, you're so used to people saying, oh, you know, I'm not interested in it, you're a Brit. And he wasn't like that. So I was really glad when this witness from Ireland reached out to him. And she says, my name's Emily. This happened on the 3rd of the 6th, 2014. It was roughly around 2 to 3 a.m. And I think it's an AG, I-N-A-G-H. I'm not really sure because I don't speak Gaelic. But she says, I'm not sure if you guys do anything paranormal outside the USA, especially not Bigfoot related. But I've had quite an experience here in Ireland with what I believe to be a banshee. If you are out there, Emily, get in touch because I'll be able to find somebody that you can talk to you about it. I already know 2 other witnesses who've seen the same thing. And she goes on to say, I live in a small farmhouse in a pretty rural area of Ireland, and I heard what first sounded like cats screaming or making a noise. And she just basically says, I'm going to cut this down so that I can get through them all. I saw a woman standing upright on the stone wall that borders the bog. She had her head tilted upwards and was screaming so loudly that it actually caused some pain. This freaked me out, as I presumed it was some drunken person, and I ran back inside the house. She said the police were involved in the event, and she goes on to say that they wrote it down as the woman was drunk and disorderly, but she said it was your typical banshee, and the scream, what she described, she goes into detail with the scream. So that's one that's come in. Now, there's lots and lots of reports come in over the last 6 weeks, and I'm not going to be able to bring them all to you tonight. You'd be on here for hours and hours and hours, but I will, of course, bring you them in each individual video. We have reports at Loch Senart again, and that's come up before. It's come up a couple of times, Loch Senart. So let me just pull it up for you. No, I'm not playing ball tonight, mate. Tonight. I'll pull my map up. Oh, gremlins. There we go. Right, Christmas 2017. My family and I went to stay in the Scottish Island, and we stayed the side of Lochs in a quite remote place. On Boxing Day, I went outside to have a cigarette, and it was darkness which began to fall, and I heard a really loud scream which sounded like it came from the top of the trail. Now, Lochs when you look at the area, and you've also got Leyland, I don't know how to say that, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reports around that area. 2 have unseen that shadowing behaviour where it follows people, and it's not that far from the Isle of Mull. So if you've got any information on this and you're up in that area, because Lochs has come up twice, because there's a new report coming since then on that. Let's see, right, it's not coming up in my notes. Right. Another person got in touch with me and said that they were at Lochs and we were camped there in the summer, and we walked up the same trail that your witness heard the scream on. And we got into the wooded area at the top, and my daughter just suddenly wouldn't go any further. She couldn't give an explanation as to why, just that she wanted to go back and she didn't want to carry on, and she just kind of respected that and went back with her daughter. So that's the Lochs area of Scotland. Bigfoot in Staffordshire Services. Lots of people have asked me about this one, and how is it possible and how can it be? Well, me and Marcos play a game when we're in the car, wherever we're going, and we call it Roadkill Lottery. So when we were on M6 and we were going to Kidderminster, I think we got just 27 roadkills that were on there. And you're just basically passing conurbations of houses, and the rest of it is fields and arable, and they're not planted on it, and you've got loads of woods. And if you think about the rivers in that area, it'd be really easy to move around. So you've got someone moving it at dusk. Let me just check the time so I get it right. I'm not giving it you wrong. I think it's dusk. It happened in 2017. Yeah, 12 a.m, so like midnight. And they're doing the Manchester to Birmingham route that me and Mark would do. And it says it's been almost 2 years now. I was driving in a lane 1 when suddenly, out of nowhere, my head beams picked up a man-like object with very bright eyes, and I instantly had to swerve to avoid it as it ran across the motorway. And he said he was doing about 70 miles an hour at the time. He had his wife in the car, and the kids were in the car in the back seat as well, luckily with the seatbelts on. And he says, I have never seen human eyes glow in the dark. So that's the information on that one. Next one is Preston, and you'll all remember this. It's a lady who's been pulling out of work. It's 8 p.m. It's, as it is here at the minute, it's thick fog out there now, absolute thick fog. And she's in the car. She gets to the dual carriageway, and as she goes to turn, she looks to see if there's any car coming, and what she sees is a reptilian creature walking towards her. Now, since I've put that report out, other people have got in touch with me who have seen and experienced exactly the same thing. And some of them mentioned these almost toad like reptilians, and I know nothing about that. I am completely out of my field of knowledge. So if you know anything about that and you could get in touch with me. I've seen a few people commenting on YouTube saying they've got information on it, but nobody's really reached out to me with it. I, of course, have put her in touch with other people who do know what to do, and she's a lot better about it now, and she's popping along to some of the events and the meets in the future. She's actually joined up at BBR. Stanley in the northeast has come up yet again. What's going on between Stanley, Consett and Beamish? We get consistent reports of this hairy, upright, 7-foot tall figure that just seems to move very quickly between the trees. Lots and lots and lots of researchers up there in the Stanley area, and that's why we're going up to Bolham, because it's just like central and we can all kind of meet there. And if you're one of those Stanley members, I've got lots of you all asking me if there's any other members in the Northeast, and I've even put you all into the same emails, and you're still all asking me the same question. That's what the map's for, guys. Get on the map and learn how to use it. You can just click on the icon and the person comes up and it tells you where they are and it gives you the email, and it saves me having to do it for you all the time. I'm like the human telephone directory. So the next report is from Delamere, and it's by a gent called David Bunn and Daniel Grester, if I'm correct, and they are organising the meet at Delamere. Unfortunately, Werewolf Mike's not going to be able to make it. He had a prior engagement and we've had to do it on the 15th, and he can't get the time off work. So, but he will be along. He's going to try and organise one himself in Reading, which is his area, and we can meet up there, and he will take us into the woods where he's had his encounter with 13 wolves. So hopefully that's what we can do over the summer months. For the members who can't make the rough meet, so I was having a chat with Stephen and Dr. Tracy, and we said, like, there's lots of people who really are struggling mobility-wise that are not going to be able to do these muddy meets. So I'm going to look for somewhere in June, probably around the Nottingham area, if possible, around that way, Nottingham, Worksop, somewhere around there, where we would be on a campsite, and you would have a choice of whether you camped, whether you went in the camping pod, or whether you went in the... Some of them have like really nice B&Bs on there and old castles and things like that. All I would be doing is providing you with the link and the day that I'm going to be there. And then that's up to you what you book. And then I can put it out there to the members, and we can just invite them onto site in the day or to a local wood or something like that we found the day before. And we'll all still get to meet up, and everybody would feel comfortable and they won't feel like they've been left out anyway. And that would be nice for me, actually. If I could stay somewhere, you know, overnight, that was quite nice. I'd probably be able to do a little bit more. The journey is what kills me. So what we're trying to do is break it down into really small bits. So to go to Nottingham, I'm hoping that'll be manageable by June. But if it's not, we'll just set off the day before and we'll camp midway. And that's what we're doing for Bolham. We're travelling from Manchester to Yorkshire and stopping. And then we're going to stay overnight, and then we're going to do the rest of the journey the next day, so it's not too much for me. So, yeah, we'll have a really nice camp out. Forest of Bowland might be a good one for later on, but that's up north again, and we kind of monopolise the north. I don't think it's fair on the other members across the country. My husband's really interested in doing something like that in Wales, because he absolutely loves Wales, and he loves the castles, and he said, can't we do something there, Deb, because the sky watching's fantastic. Well, I'm saying yes to everything this year, so yeah, let's do that as well. But they'll be much later on, and I will talk to you about them. But I am going to be interviewing David on Tuesday night coming. I think it's 21st, I'm not really sure. I'm going to be speaking to Greg Allen tomorrow about alternative realities and things like that. We've had a chat, and he's going to be speaking at the conference. I'm also speaking to another guy tomorrow. I think I'm getting mixed up, actually. I'm speaking to another chap from Derbyshire tomorrow, that's correct. And then on Tuesday I'm speaking to Mike and David. He's going to take you through those reports and the things that have happened to him down there at Delamere. We can do, I've just seen a comment come up, that's what we'll do when we're at Bolham. I'm not going to be staying overnight at Bolham or Delamere. It's too much for me, I can't do it. But I will stay till about 5, and then obviously I've got to travel back to Manchester. And I'll be bringing Kaz down with me and Paul, one of the other members. So I've got to ferry them home as well. So it's not, I can't stay overnight, and I wouldn't be able to do it physically. I wouldn't be able to. But there's lots and lots of members. I will come down. I'll give you the sighting reports that are in the area, any UFO reports that have come in, any paranormal reports, any cryptid reports. So you know what you're looking at in the area. And feel free to do what you want. You can camp with a group. You can go off on your own. A few of them, Danny and David have said they're more than happy to take you to the areas where they've had activity in the past. And there's kind of a lookout area there called a satellite, on the satellite trail. And you can look out across. And that's an area where they've had activity and they've had finds, and they're more than happy to take you there. So that's another one. And I am looking for information on red eye shine. I've had a number of reports that have come in recently, and I'm not an expert on eye shine. People think I'm an expert on all kinds of things. I don't really know about eye shine. I just know when it's 10 foot up in the tree and it suddenly drops through its belly and it crawls out backwards, you need to be worried about it. But I do get reports of eye shine all the time, and I've had a number of them come in that report this red eye shine. And I know that most people say, oh, that's to do with anger and things like that, and it might very well be. But I just want to check and see if anybody's got any other information on that, on this red eye shine. What do you know about it, and what you can share with us, and we can learn along with you. Now we go to Europe. As I say, we've had so many people sign up. We've got members across Europe now. We've got members in Australia. We've got members in Canada and the US. A gentleman from the US got in touch with me, and he is a well-known researcher, and I'm not going to give his name, and you'll understand why. And he is, along with a number of other researchers, that have suddenly decided that it's just too cut and dry. The American scene, if you do not fit the parameter, the report is not being taken. And he started to look at a number of reports that he dismissed some years ago. And he speaks to me about a conference that was held in America, and it was quite a well-known conference. And there were a number of Fortean experts at the conference. And a gentleman from Germany came over to them, and he told them of a report that he had when he was a young boy in Germany. And the gentleman I was talking to said, basically, we just turned our backs on him. We didn't take any notice of him whatsoever. Well, I know what that feels like. So I'm asking, if you're out there and you are that witness, please get in touch, because I have got other witnesses of dogman-like creatures in France, Bosnia, Poland. Oh, I wish Nat was here now. I could ask her. Nat's been collecting dogman reports for me all over the Nordic states and the Baltic states, and you'd be amazed. You're not the only one. Even in Finland, we've got reports of dogman-like creatures. And he says, this might jog your memory if you've heard him speak of this or this report. He said, oh, let me get it. He had a pretty flat face. That's what he said. I'm reading the email that my friend sent me. The gentleman had an encounter with a creature, and he said it was a dogman, although the researcher that he spoke to was convinced it was a Sasquatch creature and tried to convince him of that due to the description of a flat face. Unfortunately, I was so dumbfounded by his claim that I didn't even follow it up. He said he was on the 3rd floor of an apartment block. It was a young child, and a big fellow came to the door onto his balcony, and he said it wasn't aggressive but curious, and it seemed to be interested in him. He said it was not a gangly teen or anything like that, and he said it jumped off the balcony and it ran off, and this was on the edge of the Black Forest. So as you can imagine, I'm really interested in this report and trying to, they actually call that the Valley of the Neanderthals. And there's a very old folk tale of an entire village of Neanderthals that had red hair and a pronounced jaw that would entice males into the village to sleep with the females because they didn't have any clean DNA. So farmers would entice, these Neanderthal farmers would entice, young people from the Alps to come in and work on the farm, and would present them with the daughter, which in a human eyes would be, a bit of a strange looking lass. But there are reports of these half-human hybrids, and that's why they call it the Valley of the Neanderthals. So this guy's not that far from that. And he's made this really important report, and they've turned their back on him and walked away. So if you're out there, please get in touch. And I know just who I can put you in touch with, you'll understand. Now, we have teamed up with a number of guys. Jeremiah, Sean and JR, we've partnered with them, and they've partnered with BBR. So they have Facebook groups, they do podcasts like me, they do YouTube, and it's called On the Trail of Living Legends, and they've all worked closely with Will Jevning. So you'll all know the Will Jevning group. So they've got a lot of information that I'm sure will be of use to us. Structure finds, evidence finds, things like that. Jeremiah supplied me with a bone find, and I can't give you too much of the details on it yet because it only came in over the weekend, so I've not actually had time to read through the emails correctly, but he gave me a short blast, so I had enough information on it. And it's this bone find that they found in the field, and they had it authenticated by a qualified anthropologist. And he basically said it lied between a human tooth and an unknown ape's tooth. He just couldn't describe which ape that it would be. So I've got a number of bones over here that I've been of images for. I don't actually have the bone, fortunately, like Jeremiah. So I'm hoping that I can send those over to him and have a look at them for me. He's also going to interview some of the American witnesses for me, because they were people that had their reports turned away. Randy is a gentleman, if you remember, I tried to interview, but he's so far out in the wilds of Canada that we could hardly hear him. Well, it will be much easier for Jeremiah to do that. And Randy was witness to a Sasquatch and a moose that fought to the death. So he's going to re-interview him for me and bring him in. And he's brought him into the Facebook group. And I think it's worked both ways, because Randy's a good outdoorsman. Jeremiah likes being outdoors. Sean and JR are exactly the same. So they kind of, you know, they got the same interests. And that's what BBR is all about, just bringing people together who've got the same interests. So they're going to record with him. They're also going to record with Joe Bogle. Joe's a very good friend of mine who lives in America. And he's had 2 interactions like Randy. Oh, Randy didn't just see that. He also saw on a different occasion, he saw that typical where it hides behind a tree like this, and then it just dropped to its belly and belly crawled out of there. Well, Joe has had 2 encounters as well, and one of them he's convinced that the creature was stalking the dogs that he had in his camp, and he said, oh, he was that frightened he had to get his gun out. So Jeremiah and the gang are going to chat with them and record it, and then obviously I'll share it with you guys. And there is an opportunity to join them, because they're going to do a monthly round table like we used to do when we had Google Hangouts. And I'd like to get that going in the UK. And I'll speak a bit more about that in a bit. So we have got new American reports that have come in. And the first one is a gentleman. Let me just pull it up. There we go. In Somerville, Georgia. I'm not going to read all of it out. I'm just going to give you a bit. There's a gent. He's in the forest and he's looking for something. I think he's looking for ginseng. It's what he does. And I think it's the same as what I know. You take the root and you put the berries back in the ground and you leave them. It takes an incredibly long time for it to grow. And it normally grows, I think, on the wet side of a mountain. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's what happens. And obviously it's a cash crop, so people do it. But they're out in the, you know, the places that other people aren't. And he comes into contact with something that he describes as a giant, hairy, man-like thing. He said he heard something walking in, and he looked behind him expecting to see his friend. But it wasn't his friend. He said there stood the strangest creature he'd ever seen. It was half covered in dried, caked mud. The mud was mainly on its lower half, and it hung in small clumps off its hair, like it had been wallowing or crawling through the mud for some reason. It was approximately 8 feet tall, with 4 to 6 inch long, dark brown hair, and it was covered in hair all over. It was only about 18 to 20 feet from him, and he said he got a really good look at it. It had a big head that looked like it was set on some really strong shoulders with no neck. And he described it as medium build, and it had long arms that hung to its knees, and a powerful stench that smelled like a dead animal. And as he looked it over, and he just stood there frozen, he says, and he said he noticed its left arm seemed lifeless, and the fingernails on that hand had grown so long they kind of tangled into a knot, so it might have been an injured arm in some way. Maybe that's why it revealed itself to him. But I will bring you that report in a later date in a video of its own. And I think it just basically turned away from him. It tried to communicate with him. And it just turned away and grunted the second time, and it swung its upper half to see if, and then it just took a couple of steps from him, and he was off. And he says as it was walking away, he noticed it had a bad leg too. He said it stumbled like an old drunken man. Maybe that's why it's revealed itself to him. I'm just checking to see if there's a date. Yeah, 1986. It would have happened in August of 1986, and he was in Jenkins Gap, Somerville, Georgia. So if you're in the Georgia area and you know where Somerville is, Jenkins Gap, his name is Mr. Brown, and he's happy to speak to people about his encounter. So the next report we have from America is Nunavik. I hope I've said that right. Let me just check. And it's hunters, and they run into a rock throwing creature. There we go. Harry Cruikshank is his name, and he runs the Quebec group, and they went out looking. They go out and they research like the BBR members do. And he said they were on a night time, and they were being led by a Cree hunter, a guide that was from the Cree hunters, and it was around about 4 years ago. Let me just check. I'm just going to run through it. It says the group of 4 men and 1 woman say they saw the creature around October time. The group travelled by motorised canoe to an area 45 minutes south of, oh, I'm going to get this wrong, Klutvik, on Nunavik Hudson Bay coast. After a short coffee break, they continued to a remote bay known to be a good spot for seal. We all saw the unexpected something on a small hill. It was dark and we started staring at it, Cruikshank said. We knew there was nobody up there because there were no other canoes and you can only reach that hunting area by canoe. The group decided to go after the creature and they approached the area and climbed the small hill, but they found nothing. But they did spot a caribou trail. We heard strange noises up on that land, he said, like the sound of something throwing rocks. Maybe the creature was trying to communicate with us, said Cruikshank, but I don't know how to talk to a Bigfoot. They determined that the animal was indeed a Bigfoot and it was throwing rocks at them because they were angry. I'm just having a quick read through it so I can get the juicy bits. And then his wife sees it. She says, hey, what's that? And they stood up and they start running, said Cruikshank, and we're running fast. But when he told his story, the people of the Klutvik didn't believe him. And he said, I just went quiet after that. So if you're around that area or know anyone in that area, I'm sure he will be more than happy to share, take you back to that area or at least show you where it is on the map. The next report is also way up in the north in Genoa. And this happened in 84. So Genoa is, let me get it right, Nevada. So Douglas County, Nevada. The nearest town is Genoa, Nevada, and the nearest road is Sentinel Road. And he says, in 84, my friend and I were hiking on the east side of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Both of us grew up in this area and we were used to it. They were up on the trail, and he said, we reached the cabin without incidents, nothing happened. We sat down on the bluff that overlooked the Carson Valley, and we split a soda that we'd brought, and I took out my recorder, like a flute-like instrument he's put. And after an hour of messing around, we decided to head back down to the trail. I kept smelling a really bad smell. I even checked my shoes on a number of occasions. And then Linda was facing uphill, and we were examining a particular perfect pine cone when Linda looked up and exclaimed, oh my God, it's a bear. No, it's a guy in a bear suit. I looked up and I couldn't believe it. We were a stone toss from a 7-foot hairy dude. He looked directly at us, and to this day, Linda and I felt something pass between the 3 of us. He stood across the creek from us, and his hair was the colour of dry pine needles, and it covered his whole body, with the hair thinning out just on his chest and his face. He had a broad chest, but not breasts like a female. His arms were hanging at his sides, nearly to his knees. And when he walked, he took long strides, and his arms swung freely as he walked. Now, as I say, I will be bringing you all of those in videos of their own. I just haven't been able to do it, unfortunately. The cold's playing absolute havoc on my hands, so Been stuck in my chair for days on end. So as I say, we've got new members in US, Canada, Australia, Germany. Why don't you join? If you're out there and you're thinking, oh, I'm not really sure, just join up. It's free. What have you got to lose? If you don't like it, you can always leave. You might find that there's something that you're interested. If you've got a YouTube, a Facebook, a podcast, just reach out and I'll pop your details on the map, and it'll enable people to find you and get out there. And each month when I send the email out, I add those links into the email. And there's lots, as I say, there's lots of exciting projects going on behind the scenes. I can't tell you about them yet. But there are some that I can tell you about. There's a field guide coming out for members, so it kind of show you what's Paul Abel's doing it. And we're hoping that you're going to send us in your images and Paul can include them in the book. What you think is important, sign, and why you think it's important. There's a US museum exhibition being put together on the British Bigfoot, and they've asked me to send them some images in. So I've got some footprint images and things like that, and I'm going to base it as from the early Woodrush reports through to the recent reports that have come in, like the latest report that's come in, which would be Derbyshire, and that's what I want to talk to you about now. There is a report came in the other day from Derbyshire. And a lovely gentleman who's on Patreon, he's one of our supporters, Robert Toplis, applied to, I'm not sure where he applied, how he got his hands on it. I'm not really sure, actually. I'll just have to have a look now. It's quite exciting. If you remember, there's a story that's out there of the wild one of the peaks. And it's the first ever police reported incident that happened in the UK. And it was basically, I'm going to show it you now, this is the actual copy of the magazine report. And it speaks of ladies being chased from the area, on the golf course by the wild man of the peaks. And all of the villagers, I think you can see, that's the hut that described as the wild man's hut. And a number of the people went out to try and catch him, and they took the guns and everything. They couldn't do it. They said he went up and down the peaks faster than anyone they'd ever seen, and even the fittest boys in the village couldn't keep up with him. Well, we've known about it. We knew it was out there, but I don't think anyone's ever seen the actual report. And as you can see, it's there, the wild man at the peak. So I wanted to take a time out to thank Robert for that, because I wouldn't have been able to resource that myself or pay to get it, because I know he had to pay to get it. 1 second. I think he went to a archive. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, so we've got all the original information, which is absolutely fantastic, because the river down there, the Derwent, is what I think is the answer. Because anywhere you go, the Derwent meets up with quite a number of other rivers. And if it doesn't meet up with the rivers exactly, it meets up with streams that flow into those rivers. And there are so many reports down in that area. That was one of the reasons I did the meet in Buxton. And because they're not all these upright, hairy, massive 7-foot creatures, people say, oh, well, it's the cat creatures, or they're unseen, or they're not sure, and they're not sure. There's so many cave systems underneath Buxton. It's unbelievable. And that's not just the caves that the tourists go to, because there's lots of quite famous caves, but there are also other caves on Watsamwell, the area of Watsamwell. It seems to pop up over and over again, and I know there are cave systems in Watsamwell. So the gent in Derbyshire, he's parked in the car, he's driving the car, and he parks up, and he sees a creature cross from one side of the road to the other. And he waits and he lets it go. He's quite clever about that. And he said he gives it a good 15 minutes, and then he gets out and he has a cigarette and he's thinking about it. When I looked on the map, there are many quarries either side of the Derwent, and these are like half a mile, all of them, from our side of the Derwent. So that'd be a really easy route to take. You're in the middle of the peaks. You've got areas where there's no people around. You've just got sheep or cattle that are grazing out there. You've got the odd farmhouse. It's not the most populated area, and it tends to be little villages, and then it's just openness. So I think it's really important that we've been able to get our hands on that document, because now I can officially put a report out on it, because before it's only ever been snippets that other people have heard of this magazine, but nobody's ever been able to put their hands on it. So now that I've been able to get it, I can do some work on that, which is brilliant, because there are a number of reports in the peaks. As I said, I'm just going to pull it up on the map so I can chat to you about it. And it's an ideal area for meats, I think. But as I say, I think we've monopolised the northwest for a while, and we need to start doing some further south. Once I can make that journey, then we will get to you, and it's just a matter of trying, really. As I said earlier, my husband's come up with the idea of actually converting a van so we could put a proper orthopaedic bed in it, and that way we could camp up, and I could sleep properly, and then we could move on the next day. So it'd take us a number of days to get to you, but he'd still be able to do me care and things like that. So it is possible. Let me just put Buxton in here. Right, so the amount of quarries that are around is just unbelievable. And as I say, that the Derwent, when it snakes, you can see you've got the Goyt Forest there, and we've got accounts and all kinds of things in the Goyt Forest. And then the Bigfoot of Derbyshire is just off the national park, where between Pilsen, Sheldon, that kind of area there. And then we've got a number of reports that kind of line up, and they sort of skirt the higher area. So I would imagine, because that's where we are when we're seeing them. And there are reports of whoops, which is incredibly unusual, because nothing whoops in the UK, really. Let me have a look. We've got the unseen shadowing again. We've got a large hairy covered biped. I'm just looking at there. We've got footsteps up on Kinder Scout up that way. We've also got the Hope Valley werewolf, that kind of thing. But it's so central, and I think that's the reason why Buxton interests me so much, because as I say, those cave systems come up all over, and if you want to stay hidden, it's just one of my theories that they would use the cave systems, in all honesty. So I've caught up, and I've done what I need to do, so now I can join you in the chat. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to take 5 minutes to just have a little scan through. Yeah, Pete, we're having a meet in Bolham on the 29th of March. You should come down and join me. But I am going to email everyone. So check your BBR emails when they come in, because they might just not be me mithering, you know. They might be me saying, I need to get you in. Some people have messaged me while I've been on and asked me how they can make a donation. 1 second, and I'll pop it in there for you. There's two ways, really. You could... Oh, I swore on camera, sorry. There are two ways, really. You can just PayPal me something, just £1 or £2, you know, just whatever you feel like giving, and I'll use it for stamps, or I'll use it to get to the meets, and to set things up. Or you can just become a patron. I think that's like £1 a month or something like that. That's the cheapest one they do. I'd try and get it cheaper if I could, but I can't. That's how they do it. I'm just trying to find these links. And lots of people have asked me about Super Chat. Why don't I have Super Chat and you can pay me that way? I've only just started monetizing my videos, so I don't really know about Super Chat. I've spoke to a few people, and they say you don't get it till you get at least, you've got to have 60 quid before they'll send it to you. So if someone sends you a tenner, that tenner's just going to sit there in Google's account, and it'll probably take me about 2 or 3 months to earn that 60 quid before I'd get that tenner. Not that I'm not grateful for it, because I'm incredibly grateful for it. It's just Google in the way they do things, and they won't, even when you reach a threshold, they won't give it you for 60 days. It's really silly. And because it's something I'm new to, I'm trying to learn everything. So I do have a PayPal link. I'll pop that in the chat. And don't feel that you have to donate, because you don't. You know, this is just for people who've asked me. And I'll get you the Patreon link as well, because on Patreon, because they kind of support, I put any sighting that comes in goes on there first. And it's my way of keeping my filing system. I know where everything is, but I bring patron reports. They get a report from around the world at least. I try and do one at least every couple of days or so. And it's any new report that comes in, like I say, and any podcast that I do that are not going to go out on YouTube, I put on Patreon. I don't know why. It's kind of always been that way. That's what people do, isn't it? They put it on Patreon. And obviously now I can monetize, then I can do things on Patreon more. So that's kind of, things have changed a lot. I've been given permission to do what's called permitted work. So it means that I can do a number of hours and be paid for doing those number of hours. I've never been able to do that before. So we've had to fund everything ourselves, and we are beyond grateful for anyone that's made a donation in the past. And I'm not asking you for money, I'm really not. I feel a bit embarrassed actually bringing it up, but a couple of people have said to me, Deb, can you pop it in the thing so I can have a look and I can support you? So there you go, they're in there. We don't have to talk about it now anymore. Oh, I can see you all meeting up. That's lovely. Oh yeah, I didn't think about the conferences for people who are not great on bad ground or in the woods. Yeah, pop along to the conference if you can and come and see us. I've got lots of new speakers, lots of people are witnesses, and they're going to stand up and they're going to give their story for the first time. And other people have said that they want to take part in a town hall meeting where they stand up and tell people of their encounters and what happened. And they can be encounters with anything or any event. It doesn't really matter. And all I set out to do, really, all I want to do, really, I just want to give people the opportunity to speak to other people who've either experienced something similar to what they've experienced or understand what it's like to have an event that you can't just explain. And there are lots of us that have explained it so many times that we've got quite a thick skin and we don't mind saying, no, I saw something really strange. But we understand that there are a lot of people that aren't like that. And the meets kind of give people a chance to sit and watch and watch as other people share, and it can be helpful to them. It can give them a voice, really, where they think, well, they've shared and they've shared. I don't feel so, strange. I think I'm going to share, kind of thing. And I can see that Lee Musdid went out to Bollum and did, no, it was Stanley, wasn't it? He went out to Stanley for me last month and he did an area check and videoed the area for me where we've had all the Beamish concert reports and things like that. I'm hoping, Lee, that you will have a look around Bollum for me and see if you can find me somewhere not far from that car park where I can get some chairs on for the members to sit down and we can rig a tarp. So if you could do that for me, that'd be a massive. And I know Pond Guru, many people know Pond Guru on here. He's going to try and come down and join us for the day. I'm going to reach out to Damien as well, Fell Wanderer, and see if he wants to come along and have a brew with us. And we'll just have a natter, really, and have a chat about things that we've experienced. And we start off with the cryptid reports, but we always tend to start talking about all of the other genres that people have experienced. And I don't have experiences in all of them, but I really enjoy listening to the story, so it's always a really good day. And to be honest, when we get home, I usually have a brew and some cereal and I'm asleep. It tires me out that much, but I absolutely love it. And I think some of the members feel like that as well. Right, so I'll when I'm doing the meet, I will try and get to the West car park. I'll try and find out what that is and I'll give the details out about that. But yeah, that's what I'm after, just some local knowledge, really, because it's really hard for me on the map to pick us an area to go, because I might turn up somewhere and it might be private land because it's not posted on the map. So anything that I can just get them out of the car park and just get them into an area, and if the weather's bad, Mark will rig the tarp up and we'll just sit down and have a fire and a brew. And we have an above ground fire, so we're not leaving any mess or anything like that. But if you want to bring your camping stoves or your flasks or bring your own food out and things like that, there is a visitor centres there. And it is open till around about 4:30, I think, on a Sunday. And there's toilets attached and things like that. But once that shuts, once that toilet block shuts at 4:30, you're on your own out there. So as I'm saying, it is a bit rough. So the lads know that because they're used to doing it. But if you've always fancied having a wild camp, or you've always fancied doing some research in an area where they've been in accounts, but you just didn't really want to do it on your own, yeah, now's your chance, because they can give you hints, they can give you tips, they can show you things that they've found, they can show you how they do things or how they go about things. Stu Hill's going to be at the Bolam camp. Stu's my right hand man at BBR. He knows just as much as not on the British Bigfoot as I do, believe me. And Stu is boots on the ground, so he is used to being out there in the wilds in the northeast, and he can tell you what's happened to him when he's been out there, and he can explain the finds that he's had and things like that. It's a chance to tap into that knowledge. So if it's something you've always fancied doing, or you just want to do it because you think that sounds like fun, just come along. You don't have to be experienced or anything like that. We all start somewhere, don't we? I'm seeing a number of people who are making YouTube channels, and I want to give a shout out to them because it's absolutely fantastic. GP's done it for a number of years now, as you know, and he started using the BBR emblem on his videos. And if you want to do that on your YouTube channel, feel free. I'll send you the images over for free, an email, and pop them in there. Louis Chadwick's got a new YouTube channel that I think you should check out. Let me see if I've got the name of it. Louis, if you're in the chat, can you put the name of your channel up for me now? And it saves me going off this thread and going somewhere else. That's ideal, Pete. I'll have a look later on. Pete's just giving me an area for people. I'll have a look. Let me write that down. Is there any chance you can text me that information about the small grass area in the middle of the car park? Did you say it was the West car park? You or Stu, either email me or message me tonight, please, and let me know. And I'll pull it up on my map, and that way I can share it with the members. And if anyone's into geo coordinates, oh my God, I better not ever get stuck in a forest and die. What's your coordinates? I'll put them over as well to people. Oh, good Lord, Deborah. Right. Oh. I mean, we were talking to a woman who once said she had cystitis in her eye, and I meant I had a cyst on my eye, and I said, oh my Lord, I've got cystitis in my eye, and I've never lived that down to this day. Yeah, so come out and meet us, come along. We've had a couple of Americans say that they fancy coming out as well, so like, just come over if that's what you're going to do. We're a dead friendly bunch. Hello, Kane. Hi, Susie. Oh, Susie's my lovely friend in Australia. Did the rain come? How are things now? I'm just waiting to see if Susie has heard me and she'll answer. There's been reports. Oh, thankfully, that's good. There's been reports in the UK papers most mornings, and because of all the Mexit problems, they're not really putting a whole lot out. So that's great, isn't it? Because it doesn't take long. I know here when the moors burn, it's awful. It's absolutely tragic. It's the amount of animals that you find up there is unbelievable. But it doesn't take more than 8 or 10 weeks once you've had rain for the green to come back and things start to grow, and all that ash on the ground makes it lush, and it, you know, you can turn a desert into an oasis in 7 years in permaculture. If you just leave it alone and let it regrow, then that's what it will do. Mother Nature is a very harsh ruler, isn't she? But she usually has a plan. Night, Lotsy. What time are we on? Right, it's not so bad for me. I'm about another 15 minutes, and then Mark will bring me my pain meds up. And the reason I do these live feeds, somebody said to me the other day, why do you never read the chat when you're doing live feeds? I put that on so everybody can talk to each other, really. It's one way that they can interact with each other once a month. Oh, you'd be amazed the amount of complaints I get, yeah. The strangest things as well. But yeah, it's so people can talk to each other. But as I'm trying to read it, I get incredibly distracted. So while I'm trying to give out my information, I stick on the information tab, and then when I finish, then I check the chat out to everyone. So I never get to say hello or goodbye to everybody. But I know who's in, I can see who's in, and I can see them flicking up or down, and it's amazing to me. I'm coming from a history where there was just me and nobody else to talk to about it. So even 3 years ago, this would not have been happening. We would have had to have been on, thanks Pete, we would have had to have been on an American chat or an American thread, because the Brits were not ready to share back then. And the Stu can attest. How many years have I been banging my head on that brick wall? I think BBR was 18 the other day. I'm sure it said on LinkedIn that we were 18, and I've been at it way longer than that, since 82, but officially BBR was 18 years also. That's like having a child, really, isn't it, when you think about it. Night came. Oh, is that night to lots there? Yeah, so I didn't realise that we've been going that long. And it's only been, I would say, the past 2 years, 18 months, where I've seen a massive change, where people just don't, not that they don't mind, but they're much braver, and they're prepared to chat, and they want to talk to others about it. Hiya, Joe. I like that little staffy of yours. I was telling my husband about her before. I hope she's a she. She looked like a she to me. I'm probably wrong. And I was explaining that you do the dog rescue and everything, because that's what we had 2 rescues, and they were both staffies, and they have that typical smile that they're ace, aren't they? And before we took her out, I sat on the bench and Mark watched her up to Barrow and everything, but it was thick fog, and that's the first time she walked herself back to the car. It was that cold out there. She was just like, nope, not for this, and back she went. So we didn't actually really get her to take her out, but it's thick fog out there tonight, absolutely thick. So I don't think Mark will be going anywhere early morning, because it'll probably be there all night. But we haven't really had a winter where I live. I'm going to be dead honest. The seasons have been off. We don't usually get sighting reports that are around this time of the year. So when the other one come in the other night, I instantly thought, is it the weather that's changed the pattern? I mean, it could just be that people haven't reported, though, the reports that have happened. You get what I mean? Like, I tend to be under the impression that everybody knows where to report to. But I was talking to Wes Germer today from Sasquatch Chronicles, and as I was explaining to him, these people don't know me. I'm not a household name in the UK. So if they know somebody that knows me, then they can put them in touch with me. But I think there's hundreds of people out there that have got encounters and just don't know where to go with them or where to share them. Because I know Wes and a number of the other guys put British witnesses up, which is absolutely fantastic, because they need to be given a voice. You know, that's all you need. You just need that. I know how freeing it was for me when I can think of 5 witnesses way back in the early days. It was Ian, Charmaine, Jazz, and 2 that I can't mention, unfortunately. Speaking to them was the biggest relief, because back then I'd apologise, or I'd be really, I'm doing it now, you can hear the stutter in my voice, I'd be really dubious about sharing or telling everybody anything. And so when they went, oh God, yeah, it was exactly like that for me, and then you get this conversation and go, oh, it was so freeing, and I just wanted that for everybody else. Yeah, I'd come across people who were really, really struggling, thinking they were on their own, and I'd say, no, I know somebody else that's had that, and if you want, I can put you in touch with him. And that's how BBR started, really, in all honesty. Adam named it because Adam already had his Facebook groups going and things like that, and it was called British Bigfoot Research back then. But it's changed so much since then, really. That's why I changed it to BBR Investigations, because it's worldwide now. It's become so big, and because people just want to share, don't they? And they just want other people to share with. So if you are out this weekend, do not go out if it's bad like it is here. It's not worth it. You're not going to miss out. If you miss a footprint, that's fine. You know, there will always be another one. And good night, Lee. I'm going to take off myself in a sec, actually. My pain is absolutely driving me mad, and I'm getting really, really distracted. I'm going to have my my meds. So I will be back this week with I'm going to do some, I'll keep the videos on the events really short, so they're not driving you mad. If you're not attending the events, just ignore them. You don't have to read them. I have got some sighting reports to come for you over the next month, and I'll put those out for you, but I won't bombard you with you. It's just we've had such an influx this month that I needed to get the older reports up and on there, and I've set them, I've scheduled them so they'll come out for months ahead now. And it was just a matter of, right, thankfully I'm back to where I need to be on the thing. So I'm going to say good night. I'm just reading the chat. So tonight, good night to everybody in the chat. And as I say, I'll speak to you all in the week, no doubt. Enjoy yourselves. Look after yourselves. So it's good night from me. Night, everyone.